welcome to Dalma Makes and Happy New Year! In this video I'll share with you the process of painting this cute little robin on a branch. The red-breasted robin is the quintessential winter bird, at least in the northern hemisphere, and it is indeed a very beautiful and adorable little creature. For my inspiration, I used these photos that I just found on Google, and I just loved how adorably derpy it looks sometimes, facing head on. To start with, I painted a very simple background, mostly using cerulean blue and white to have this wintry sky. I needed a really nice branch for my robin to rest on, so I started the painting with outlining that. I first mixed a light brown just to have an idea of where the shapes are going to go, and I roughly sketched in the branch. I was looking at different photos of longleaf pines as reference. Once I had it roughed in, I realized I wanted some splatter snow in the background. Once that dry, I came in with a darker brown to properly define the shape of the little branches. I tried my best to create sort of organic irregularity on the surface of the branches. I'm not going for true realism, but I do want it to be grounded in reality and be recognizable for what it is. Next, I'm going to go through several steps of adding darker and lighter values to bring the bark to life and to add shadows and highlights. I must say this was one of my favorite steps in the painting process. It was rather satisfying. I didn't want to leave the branches bare, so I'm going to add some clusters of pine needles. Once again, I am looking at photos for reference. Robins are rather small birds, about 14 centimeter long on average. So I was keeping that in mind when I was putting in the pine needles, as I wanted to match that scale. I just used a bluish green for the first pass of painting the needles, and then I mixed that same green with yellow in varying shades, and I layered it for dimension, and then I took a couple of rounds of layering the colors to bring it that much needed dimension and match the slight realism of the bark. Here's a better look at it at this stage. At this point, I thought I might as well add a teeny tiny underdeveloped pine cone, and I went through the same process of putting down the block colors, then adding shadows and highlights to make it look a little bit dimensional. With all that done, it is finally time for our cute little robin to appear in the scene. I just roughly sketched in a shape with a pencil and then used some opaque white to block out the shape to make it a little bit easier for myself instead of fighting the blue background. At first I just roughly blocked in the colors, obviously the orange breast and the grayish tan undercoat on the majority of the bird. With some black paint I picked out where the eyes and the little beak will go. Then I started to work on the feathers. This is very much sped up, and I even cut out a bunch of it, as this was a pretty long back and forth consisting of thousands of little brush strokes. I really wanted my little robin to look fluffy, as if it just bristled up to have a rest and keep warm in the snowy winter scene. As I went on, I kept mixing colors right on my brush, trying to add as much variety to all of the feathers, having a lot of dimension and nuance, but also focusing on the roundness and fluffiness. When applied in very thin coats with a small brush like I'm using here. Acrylic paints dry really fast, so instead of blending, I'm really just layering the brush strokes. This is my favorite part, when the robin actually comes to life, when I start adding the detailing around the eyes and face. It's incredible how with just a pop of color things change so dramatically. And you will see very soon when I add the shinies to the eyes, the little guy immediately comes to life. I hope you find it as cute as I did. With my fluffy little bird finished, all that remain is to add the final touches. To make this a truly wintry scene, I'm going to add little touches of snow and frost all over the branch and the needles, just with a light hand, with a nice opaque white, with a little bit of grey and blue mixed in. And sort of picking areas that would make sense for little bits of snow to have settled and remain. As a final touch, I added a little bit more of that splattered snow. I like to make my own greeting cards by hand, so I used this painting to make a bunch of prints and make them into individual cards. I just found some cardstock and envelopes in a nice matching green and basically made my own Christmas cards. I really hope you enjoyed this acrylic painting process. And if you did, please do press the like button and consider subscribing to my channels. I publish all kinds of crafty and art videos every week. Also, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Please do let me know. What do you think about my cutie robin? And which part of the painting process was your favorite? I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Thank you for watching. I hope you're having a nice day and have a very happy new year.